From Fox 12 Oregon, this is breaking news.
And we are following breaking news. Oregon's governor and attorney general announcing today that President Trump is deploying Oregon National Guard troops into Portland. Good evening, and thanks for joining us on the 5 o'clock news. I'm Pete Ferryman.
And I'm Ward Jollis. The Trump administration says Title 10 of the United States Code provides the legal framework for the president to deploy National Guard troops and reserve members. It's also the same code that Trump invoked in California back in June and in Washington, D.C. last month.
Oregon's attorney general also sharing today that his office has filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration in an attempt to block the deployment. This all started with a post on Truth Social yesterday. President Trump directing the Secretary of War to send troops to, quote, protect war-ravaged Portland in any of our ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. And he authorized, quote, full force if necessary. And shortly after, Oregon's governor spoke to the president and rejected the idea. We have teamed coverage tonight as multiple rallies against the Trump administration and its actions are happening all across the metro area right now.
Fox 12's Julia Lopez is live at the 5051 rally that started at the Portland waterfront. McKenna Marks is speaking with neighbors near the ICE facility about their concerns. But first, we go to Fox 12's Adrian Thomas at the ICE facility in South Portland as more protesters are showing up right now. Adrian, what's going on?
Well, Ward, Pete, there's about 200 protesters out here. They've been gathering over the last few hours. And as of right now, it's remained mostly peaceful, except for when federal law enforcement come out of the ICE facility to clear a path for federal law enforcement vehicles. That's been happening about every 30 minutes or so. And you see some of the protesters get rather tense with the federal law enforcement. But right now, again, about 200 demonstrators out here remaining largely peaceful. They've been gathering over the last couple of hours, and we've really seen this type of activity in the city since Friday, when the news came down that President Donald Trump is going to be deploying more federal law enforcement to the city. And that's even more significant now after the news this afternoon about officially federalizing the National Guard to come protect federal property. Now, we haven't seen any National Guard arrive on scene at the moment, but we are certainly going to be expecting that in the coming days. And really, law enforcement is just monitoring this situation. Tad, if you want to, Tad, my photographer, is going to pan up to the roof of the ICE building. You can see some of the masked agents up there monitoring the protesters. We've noticed that they are carrying rifles of some sort. Our security that's with us tell us that those are likely pellet balls, which are less lethal or non-lethal weapons to quell demonstrators. We haven't seen any sort of pepper balls or tear gas or any type of dispersal methods that federal law enforcement have used at the moment. But we're going to keep monitoring this situation throughout the evening and bring you the latest as it develops. Ward, Pete.
Adrian, thank you. Another separate protest started this afternoon at the Portland waterfront.
So let's get out to Fox 12's Julia Lopez now, who is live following the crowd. Julia, what does the turnout look like there today? Looks like mostly wrapped up.
That's right. The march did happen earlier this afternoon, but it was clear that the words of the president actually united downtown Portland today. Hundreds were marching along the waterfront, telling the federal government that they do not want troops here. Again, that crowd is dispersed now, and that's after Governor Kotek led the march alongside Portland Mayor Keith Wilson. The governor, who was on the phone with the president this morning, was as fired up as we've seen her, and the community right there with her. Take a listen.
We do not want military intervention in Oregon anywhere, whether Portland or any other city in our country. You know what? Oregonians know this is bull.
If you could say something directly to the president about Portland, what would you tell him?
I would say it's not the narrative that you've been told. That's not what's happening here, and it is not worth the resources that you are going to invest to try and get an outcome that you want. This city is stronger than you think it is, and will be strong in the face of whatever you throw at us.
They're joining the Portlanders, asserting that the Rose City can take care of itself. Everyone I've spoken with today has been just shocked to hear the president describe their home as war-ravaged, because today the city was peaceful. At this rally, I've seen signs of support, of love. I've seen food and resources being distributed, and of course continued calls for action. The governor says that we don't know when troops could arrive here in Portland, but that she and the Attorney General are working to keep them out. Tonight we'll bring you more on how the community and the immigrant community are reacting. Reporting live from downtown Portland, Julia Lopez, Fox 12 Oregon.
All right, Julia, thank you. Meantime, Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield says his office has been preparing for today's announcement from the Trump administration.
And he says that they were able to file a lawsuit to challenge the deployment of National Guard troops in Oregon within hours of hearing the news. Rayfield appeared at a joint news conference via Zoom today with Oregon Governor Kotek and Portland Mayor Keith Wilson. He says that the president's federalization of 200 Oregon National Guard troops is an infringement of state sovereignty and a violation of federal law. He accuses the president of playing politics and being misinformed.
The problem is that the president is using social media to inform his views instead of working with elected leaders across this country. The president is either purposefully ignoring the reality on the ground in Portland to score political points, or at best is recklessly relying upon social media gossip.
Meanwhile, Governor Kotek says that she has spoken to the president over the weekend, but has received no timeline on when the federalized National Guard troops might be deployed here. And she says that she has no information that has been given to her to give to local law enforcement as to how they should interact with National Guard troops. But she and Mayor Wilson agree with Attorney General Rayfield's assessment that the president's order only serves to further divide the country. Throughout the summer, we've been reporting on the increased activity happening outside the ICE building in South Portland. And tonight, we're hearing from residents who live in that neighborhood who say their concerns don't include the protesters.
Fox 12's McKenna Marks spoke to people in the neighborhood today and is joining us live now. McKenna, what did you hear from those local residents?
Yeah, good evening. I spoke to one woman who has lived in this neighborhood for about 15 years and walks past the ICE building almost every day. And she tells me the people protesting outside are usually friendly. And as you can see right now, there's a large crowd of people in the street with their signs protesting outside of the ICE building. But the local residents I spoke to tell me this is not what's been bothering them.
Oh, it's a wonderful neighborhood.
Susan Norris has lived in the neighborhood near the ICE building in South Portland for 15 years. It's no secret that activity outside the building has increased this summer, especially in the evening. But the protesters themselves aren't what locals like Norris have concerns about.
People are always friendly, including all the people that I see outside here on a daily basis.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never seen any of the demonstrations instigate any violence.
Rather, neighbors tell me their concerns lie with the federal agents.
What bothers me the most, I live on the backside of the building on Bancroft, is the tear gas. They aim their flashlights to high-power ones into my back porch.
LaShonda Shavers lives in one of the apartment buildings across the street from the ICE building. On Saturday night, she says she even heard helicopters circling the facility.
There was 3 of them circling for over 7 hours last night. They were louder than the protesters.
Portland has made national headlines recently after President Donald Trump announced he plans to send troops to the Rose City.
But take a look at Portland sometime. These are wild, these are crazy people. And they're trying to burn down buildings, including federal buildings. But we're going to get out there, and we're going to do a pretty big number of those people in Portland.
And while Portlanders like Shavers and Norris admit the city saw its fair share of trouble years ago, they say the president's recent claims aren't true.
I live within 1,000 feet of the ICE facility. There are no fires, there's no lynching, there's no rioting, there's no looting, there's no attacks, assaults. That's a lie. You're being lied to.
It's a wonderful place to live. Portland's a beautiful city and a beautiful vibe, and that hasn't changed.
And even though the president has said he does plan on sending troops here to Portland, we still don't know exactly when they will be arriving. In the meantime, the people in this neighborhood tell me they'll be just fine if things stay as they are. Reporting live from South Portland, McKenna Marks, Fox 12 Oregon.
It's some great insight, McKenna. Thank you.